So the question about value-based selling is an interesting one, because the value to your different audience members might be different. And I think that's a key skill that a salesman must know. When you go into that session, when you're dealing with the network team, for them it's all about compliance, it's all about the technical specification. So the value to them might not be energy saving. So don't push that angle. For them, the value might be standardization or easy access or easy management of those devices. So I think the first step in terms of value-based selling is to understand what is value to the person you're speaking to. Once you've defined that, then you go into that conversation. Okay, by putting in this technology, what does it do for you? Okay, so it either makes your life easier as a network manager, or it's going to make you famous, like I said earlier, or it's going to really help your division or reduce the workload or whatever that might be. Then focus on those aspects of it, because the solution is all encompassing. It touches so many different divisions. Whenever you speak to C-suite, typically you look at shareholder value. So what is that? Saving cost, increasing revenue, those kind of things. So how do you articulate then clearly at a C-suite and a strategic level, by putting in this technology, we are going to unlock phenomenal business value, and you focus on that. But to try and hammer that down through the system, you lose your audience. So make sure that you adapt the value-based selling according to the audience member you speak to, and try and split them up. That's another piece of advice. Do not try and get the head of networking and the head of engineering and the head of strategy and the CFO all in the same meeting, because they all got very different KPIs, they've got different things they get measured on, and they've got different desires in the world, and it's going to be tough for you to cover all of those topics. So try and divide and conquer. Focus on what's important to that audience member and keep on working the system in terms of the value. When you end up in a price war where it's all about price points, you know you've lost the sale a while ago. Try and put it back to a conversation by saying, yes, there is a cost to the system. Yes, you might be used to paying for licenses once off up front. But how do you then counter that? Very simple. You can buy a snapshot of a legacy system that you buy, and it's cheap and you buy it today, and it becomes obsolete in 3 years' time, or you buy a living system. Yes, there are recurring revenue or recurring costs connected to that, but the value you get is this thing evolves with your network. And remember, one of the big factors that's driving telcos around the world is that connectivity is absolutely commoditized, and it's becoming more commoditized. So they have to add differentiation in what they do. They have to optimize things and then focus on those value drivers instead of just on the price. The basics of being a really good salesman applies for whatever solution you sell. Again, in this context, it is very topical. So research who you're going to speak to that day. Find out as much as possible about their departments, their drivers, their KPIs, because you have to adapt the pitch and that conversation around what's important to that person. So pre-preparation is really important. As I said earlier, it is a technology play. So pre-preparation includes understanding this product and understanding the core IOT.NXT platform and understanding what hardware goes on site, so that you can talk with authority when you talk about these topics. So pre-preparation for any sales engagement is critical, and it applies here as well.
You're going to be learning here is how to understand your customer and how to understand the business drivers that really affects them.